Hey everybody, this is Justin Case, heavy fingered tonight of American Newscape, joining our friend and media personality Jerry Maldonado back for another installment of American Mentoring. Hello Jerry, welcome back to
Wow.
American Newscape.
Monday already. It's awesome, man. It's good. It's good to be here. Good to
Hey,
be here. Thanks for having me.
hey, we're still on this side of the grass, so that's a good thing,
Yeah, oh
perspective-wise.
yeah. Oh yeah. For your area, it's sand. For my area, it's snow. So
Okay,
whatever works, it
snow.
works.
Oh, snow, it hurt. Don't use that four-letter word, snow. Okay,
All right.
leave, leave it to you and I. We've decided we're going to do a show on failure. Failures.
Yes.
Failure.
Yes. Yes. That
So,
old adage that we have to persist at everything we do in life. The problem is the majority of us, myself included, I say humbly, have tried and failed millions of times at things I didn't want to do. And it's when I figured out what I really wanted to do, then there was no more failure, just wisdom to grow further in life. Does that make sense?
well, it does. So you're saying because you didn't have this enthusiasm to do what you were going off to do, you created obstacles to yourself. So it just wasn't going to work because you were not all in, so to speak.
Thank you. Commitment, that 100%. People think they can stick a toe in a pool and they're going to get wet. But they got to realize you got to give it your all at whatever you do. And if you love what you do, it's gonna manifest. And I'm living proof in so many areas of what didn't happen, and I'm living proof of what did happen. And it's an awesome feeling. Imagine if Ford or Edison had the same mentality as the majority of us nowadays, and they need a safe space. These guys were proficient. They wanted what they wanted to do. They wanted to create it, and no matter what, Ford had what, three bankruptcies or two bankruptcies. Edison 1,000 times. He called it 1,000 steps. So indeed, failure is nothing more of doing what you love, but learning as you go. And there is no perseverance. You're just being that. It's awesome, man.
Well, for me, Jerry, when I assess failure, as long as I am not necessarily all in, but as long as I am back at it, as long as I'm going after it, as long as I'm moving the direction that I want to be moving, it's my assessment of where I am, and it's not failure till that morning I wake up and I give in.
Well, you answered your own question because you want to be back at it, indeed, and that's the whole point. When it comes to something like that. But the question I have for you is, I have a question for you tonight. How do
Okay.
you feel? How do you feel about what you want to do? That's the whole key that I learned throughout all this. If you don't feel good doing what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. I catch myself doing a few things I don't want to be doing that need to be done, of course. But I'm a driven person, so I
Hmm.
I am pushing forward. Um, and I don't, and probably I I may have not won the day, and I would be the last person to realize it.
I, I've hit that. Yeah, I've hit the ignorance is bliss, man. No, are you and I are meatballs on parade when it comes to stuff like this because we have that purpose-driven life in whatever we do. A lot of people don't have that. I get it. They just want to work and do their thing. But when it comes to a goal to me is who we are. We want to bring out that hot wired or hardwired self in the most beautiful ways. But the problem is people hit a couple of walls and then they forget who the hell they are and they go back and reassess it. And some days you wake up and like I was at one point, I was doing what I didn't want to do, and then I woke up one day and said, "Wow, I'm $500,000 in debt." And the marriage is falling apart. I better reassess what's going on, but keep doing what I love. And it all turned around eventually, but it just takes time.
Well, it does take time, and it takes energy, and it too many people, they live by the snooze alarm, and when the alarm goes off, they hit the snooze button and they hit the snooze
Oh, yeah.
button. And if people hit that snooze button too many times, it's going to be over.
That's a precursor right there. If you don't wake up um, with the drive to go after what you're trying to do, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And but like I said, it's my choice. I'm just giving. I'm your humble little opinionated guy here. But at the same time, if it doesn't drive you to wake up before the alarm, probably reassess on what's going on in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tried a million things and I failed at a million things, but it's only when I found my true and allowed my true being to come out is when things started to manifest the way I wanted them to. But you have to get through the morass of all that stuff in life. They keep telling you got to do this, you got to do that. I just you got to listen to yourself, to your own wants and your own desires in life. And when you get past what the outside world is telling you, you start listening to your inside world. Oh, God, life changes dramatically. It's awesome.
Well, you're right, Jerry. It's not what the outside world. It's not how the outside world assesses your success. It's how you perceive it. And
Yes,
and
yes. And going back to the feeling again, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's how you feel about, most importantly, yourself. The inside world is creating your outside world, and thought and how you feel about whatever you're trying to attain is profound in how you think about it and how you think about yourself in the process.
absolutely, absolutely, and even grasping that premise moving forward for most people is going to enhance their lives. Let's not keep up with the Joneses because we don't even know who the Joneses are.
Oh my God, I had to learn the hard way on that one. But it's just our nature. I decorate my house for Christmas and you decorate this house. It's just who we are as people. We've been brought up in this competitiveness. When I stopped competing, I just started to create. And that's the whole point. You stop competing with the outside world and just go after what you want with your whole heart. And they say in every scripture and proverb and wisdom that they just say go after it with your whole heart. And if it feels right, keep doing it, man. That's the thing people forget. They go after stuff that they think they can do instead of what they know they can do. And knowing is everything. Jim Carrey was awesome on that. I know you don't like the fear thing, but his dad was awesome, and I mentioned this before that he was an accountant, but he didn't go after what he wanted. And Jim said, "Why not chance it? Why not take a chance at going after what you truly love?" And I paraphrase that. And if people only went after what they loved, their life would be so much, so much, so much different, man.
Well, you brought up Jim Carrey. Do you want to touch on Napoleon one more time there, Jerry?
Oh, Napoleon? Yeah, he lost. He lost to himself. The Russians didn't beat Napoleon. Napoleon beat himself. He lost that drive to conquer. He got complacent, and that's a great point. With that, when you become complacent on what's going on, life is going to swallow you up. And a lot of this success is an inside job. Let's get to the point, Meatball.
Okay.
It's all about you on the inside until you fix that inner core of how you feel about yourself. And life is just going to keep throwing at you what you're sending out every single day. That hamster wheel of karma of thought that everybody goes out to every day.
Well, I was given a gift as a child because I saw the movie That's Life and the song That's Life from Frank Sinatra, riding high in April, shot down in May. But
Exactly.
it's just part of the process. And
Yeah.
you can enjoy every part of that process.
hmm it's like adding. It's like when as a baker, I do it. With a passion. And there's a specific recipe that calls for a specific amount, and you got to do it a specific way to get to successful product. Life is the same way. You got to add the right ingredients of thought, the right ingredients of mentality, spirituality, whatever you want to put into that bowl. It's going to come out the way you decide. You're like your own little scientific experiment. And failure is nothing more than a chapter of your life that you learn from. The majority of people go with that chapter to dwell from. And I've been there. I've done that many times. But you got to understand until you stop running through the fire, man. You just got to figure out a better way to get around it. And life is awesome like that. It's the people that observe what they're going after in life that really grasp it and really attain what they want to have, be, and do.
I totally agree with you, Jerry. Those are the people that can move forward.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
dwell.
we all have that ability, Justin. We all have that ability in life. But unfortunately, you turn on the telly or social media, you got to follow things, like I said, a certain way. No, it's your way or the highway. End the story, because it's going to be created by you, your way, your feeling, your attitude, your gratitude about what you're trying to have, be, and do in life, and it's going to manifest. If you know in your heart, if you feel it in every fiber of your being, it's going to manifest. And people do it every day with what usually they don't want, because they put such an emphasis on fear and procrastination and all these other things in life that they shouldn't even be focusing on. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. They're creating their own barriers and obstacles, and it's hard enough. We don't need to be doing that.
No.
We don't
No,
need to be
no,
doing that.
and that whole distraction thing with social media, the internet is the biggest blessing in the world, because at your fingertips you can have anything you want right in front of you to learn from. Except people are on there trying to compare from. They're comparing from everybody else, and instead of going after what they want, they're looking at everybody else's dreams and desires and making them rich, when they should be focusing on themselves and worrying about what they want to have, be, and do in life. And you'd be surprised at the outcome. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, Jerry, I've never woken up and decided today I'm going to take photographs of food that I'm going to eat and be proud of
Yeah,
posting them with the world.
yeah, or feet, hands. It's just like it's that validation sickness that people have out there. I see it every day because my work is social media and I post continuously, but I have to get through the morass of the feet and the hands and the backsides and everything else out there. And it's their choice. If they're happy doing that, I'm like, okay, that's your calling. I don't judge on people like that. But people who if they really want to be happy, that's the whole point. I watched on Sunday The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and Chris Gardner had an amazing life story. I loved it until he got to the point where he was going to focus on his attribute, which is numbers and people. That's when life took off. But until then, he did everything he didn't want to do or had to do. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, or he felt he had to do.
Yes. He had a family. He had a wife that was always behind him. I need this. I need money, money, money. This. And all he tried to do was put himself in situations to try to make money, but he didn't want to be there. And it kept just remanifesting all the frustrations in life. And when you use your own life as an example, you start finding out all kinds of, wow, I really, it's awesome when you realize what you're doing that you're blind to see.
Well, it's we've all seen, everybody's seen this. The family business, grandpa and dad loved it, lived it, breathed it, and the son was expected to and forced into the family business, and he was miserable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before I closed my business many moons ago, my kids would kept saying, "Oh, I want to be involved in it." And I said, "No, you don't, guys. No." It's tough. It's tough. But at the same time, like I said, you're right about that. A lot of businesses fail after that first generation creates it and all this stuff. Usually, the second generation is a totally different breed of people. Yeah, they might have the foundation of the family, but life is different.
Yes.
It has more opportunities and more, people look at it and say, wow, this is something else I could be doing. So I get the whole family business kind of going by the wayside now. It's all kind of new startups and people being themselves, which is fine too, whatever it might be. And I'm not, like I said, all I want is for people to follow their bliss. If you follow your bliss, you're going to create more of it in whatever you do.
Well, Jerry, give us some tips on finding our bliss. I mean, if we're a little bit lost here and we don't know what our bliss is, how do we identify it when it comes along?
I had to find it by falling on my face, man. I had to find it by being the bottom feeder. But I realized because you don't people don't realize that we're all blessed with something to do. We're all blessed with these attributes to really grow and know about life in the most beautiful ways. But we're, like I said before, we're out there doing everybody else's work and not focusing on ourselves. Is when you truly go into that dark place of self that you're afraid to go into because wow, I can actually be successful. And whenever I do, and success is not a monicum of money, it's how you feel about yourself. And failure is nothing more, and that word is so harsh, it shouldn't even be failure. It should be just trying and trying. But failure is part of the process. And when you know what you want, it's gonna happen. You know it down to a T, man. It's gonna happen. But at the same time, don't let the outside world try to tell you how to be. Only you know who you want to be. And just getting to that point, sometimes you gotta hit the bottom. And to me, it wasn't a problem for me because I knew not just out of faith or perseverance, I just knew what I wanted and I went and got it. End the story.
Wow. Wow. Well, last episode you helped us with setting off on a journaling adventure for ourselves.
Hmm.
And that can be an important aspect of journaling, right, Jerry?
Yes, Mr. Trigger.
Mr.
You
Trigger.
always go in the right spots, me, Paul. You always hit the right. And indeed, indeed. I mean, journaling to me opened the door to writing. I didn't realize I was a writer, and you made a fantastic point by doing that. I didn't realize I could write actually without being too verbose, man. I just really just let my thoughts flow. And when that's the dark place I'm talking about. And people usually relate to that dark place as something where bad stuff is stored. No, it's that place that you never go into. You don't turn the light switch on, man. It's that hole just waiting to come out. And journaling for me helped it bring out in the most beautiful ways. And I still go in there every day, man. I got to turn the light on. I got to check it and see if there's anything else I'm missing. But when you find that purpose of self, because we all have it, because it feels so natural. Whatever you're doing, if it feels so natural, keep doing it and doing it with the bliss is going to come natural as well. And it's going to modify in more thoughts and creativeness from that. Does that make sense?
Well, it does, and I would suggest to people, that are looking to find that or to enhance their lives, if you wake up in the morning and you have a little bit more energy and you have your attitude has a positive air to it, it might be just right around the corner for you. And
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah.
that's what we want for you. We want you to wake up positive, and we want you to wake up with a little bit more energy. Some days it's hard. It's hard to get that inspiration and energy going, but I would guess for you, Jerry, you kick it in despite that. And if the yeast doesn't prove for you, you you retreat and you get another batch of yeast going so you can have some decent bread in the afternoon.
Well, yeah. There's going to be off days. There's going to be off days. I'm not walking around with this proverbial smile all day long, man.
Oh,
It just
come
doesn't happen.
on.
But indeed, we all have off days. It does. It's a bad day. It doesn't mean it's a bad life. And people usually carry yesterday into tomorrow and the following day and the following day. Indeed, we all have those days. But when you know what you want, no matter what, it's just going to keep bubbling. It's going to keep knocking at your door. It's going to say, I'm here. Just keep feeding me thought and feeding me what you want. It's going to keep reacting to it. It's an alligator with an appetite forever, man. I'm telling you right now.
Well, and if we stop and think about relationships, how many people do we know that first relationship or that those first five relationships were agony and misery, and then all of a sudden, from what they learned in those relationships, that sixth relationship, just for pull a number out of the air, that was their bliss. That was their happy ever after type of thing. And we all know people like that. Um, and a common thread with all those people is they don't sit around and whine about the past.
No,
They kind of
no, and
celebrate. They celebrate where they are.
yeah, oh yeah. Remember these words, man, and you know them as well as I do. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And those different relationships are just different phases of your life because you attract your equal and you keep modifying that equal every single day. Does that make sense as far as the law of attraction? Do you get it
Oh,
when it's something like that?
I get it. That's why we divest ourselves of
Oh, yeah.
social
Yeah.
media
We all
acquaintances
evolve.
that are miserable and things like that. We can't afford those toxins in our lives.
Oh, yeah. But the problem is that we don't know. We don't understand that. A lot of us don't understand the true power that we have. Indeed, it takes time. But when you start understanding you're attracting your equal in whatever you do, in success or money, it's how you feel about it.
Right.
And how you feel about your goal should be the same way. If it doesn't feel right, you shouldn't be doing it. I get it, the whole obligations, I get it. But if you could spend a little time like I did, I had to start small and work your way up, it's not going to go away. And you're going to start attracting what you want to come from that. And it's an awesome process. And relationships, that's a whole nother show, man. I'm not gonna get involved with that. That'll
Well,
take for days to talk
no.
about that stuff.
We're never going to profess to be relationship experts, but
No,
they
no.
they
But
are
as
they
long as
are
you know, huh?
they
Go
are a
ahead.
part of everybody's life and existence. You know, in that relationship with
Yes.
parents, friends, family, whatever it is, and that's part of I think it should be part of everybody's goals, you know, to enhance our relationships, to enhance our relationship with our family, sometimes no matter how hard that might be to do. You know, not
Oh yeah.
everybody's blessed to go to Thanksgiving and be surrounded by meatballs like you are, Jerry.
I'm not. I don't mind it. I have no problem with that. But when I realized that everything in my life I attract was my equal to who I was, to who I am, then I said, wow, I can change. I can change that, and I can change what I attract to my life. The energy flow. And yes, a lot of us go through the relationship thing, and I get it. It's the wisdom, and the problem is the majority of people put up barriers and doors and don't allow the love they want in. I'm not going to get into that stuff here. This is about success, people. That's different stuff, man. Different stuff.
Okay, Jerry. Hey, leave us with the parting thought tonight.
You can have anything you want,
There you go.
but it starts within. You can become anything you want. It starts within. You can create anything you want. It starts within. But when you can finally get into that dark place, it's waiting for you. That dark place inside that really wants to evolve into your outside world is just waiting for you. But you've got to get ready for it on the inside. Believe you can have it, believe you can be it, and you'll soon become it. Awesome show, Justin.
Hey, it was always a pleasure, Jerry. Hey, everybody. This has been Justin Case and Jerry Maldonado bringing you American Mentoring. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links are provided in this video's Read More. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jerry Maldonado. All right. Good night, everybody.